The idea which Krishna is trying to tell in the Bhagavad Gita is trying to understand the Atma independently. God independently. When the understanding of Atma and God becomes independent of all mundane references, I know it is slightly tough, then it becomes very different. Understanding the mundane things through the divinity, then the whole definition changes. This is what happens to Indra also. He has not understood the truth independent of the material creation. And therefore he thinks, oh, these people are honoring the word of little child. And he tries to disrupt it. In the 10th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, a very, very beautiful verse, very beautiful pastime comes, the 14th chapter, the Brahma Vimohan Leela, which we all know. So I am trying to give you an explanation what this word Vidur Devana Danava. Dana, Deva means here Indra tried his best to understand through manipulating 5 elements. Brahma went one step ahead. What is Brahma's body made up of? Intelligence. Brahma's body is made up of intelligence. So he tried. So that simply means that if he wants to do something, he is going to bring out the best of the ideas. Now, interestingly, what had happened, which we know the Krishna Leela, that as soon as Krishna was born, he had killed the Putana demon. No one actually saw it. They just saw a dead Putana and a little baby taking rest on the breast of Putana. They came to this conclusion that it must be some mysticism or some divine arrangement. ऐसा एक छोटा सा बालक, a small kid cannot kill it's obviously nobody will believe. We believe it because our acharyas have told us. Otherwise, if such a thing would happen here, we would not believe. And we would also come to the same conclusion, maybe God has protected him. So the Brajvasis, they did not know that he himself is God who gives protection to everyone. But they came to the conclusion, maybe Narayan or Vishnu has protected him. So, because Krishna as an avatar had not taken place that time. It is only later, except for Garga Muni and some of the Devatas, nobody really knew that this small little child is the Param Brahma, Purna Purushottam Bhagavan. So therefore, after that he killed Shakatasur, then Trinavarta. So these all pastimes where no one saw Krishna doing this thing. They just saw the car broken and Krishna safe. They saw Putana dead and Krishna safe. They saw Trinavarta, like the demon, the dead demon, but nobody actually witnessed at least from the Brajvasis, that actually it was Krishna who killed. So it was always like this fellow is so lucky that somehow or other he is saved by some mystical power. That was the idea of Krishna. Because he was so charming, so whatever he would say, that would influence the mind and thoughts of people. It is natural. Someone who is beautiful, people tend to add more adjectives. That because he or she is beautiful, that means he's pure, he's truthful, he's kind. Right? We never associate beauty only with beauty. If someone is ugly, then we associate these things by default. Not trustworthy, stay away, danger. Right? If someone has a crooked looks, he may be a pure devotee, like Jad Bharat. But then, stay away. And someone beautiful means he is absolute truth. This is the way how the material world is running. In Krishna's case, obviously, he is absolute truth. But because he was so charming, his charm would block the intelligence and the minds of people right from childhood. So, one of the first pastimes when the entire Vrindavan saw Krishna being, where the entire Vrindavan saw that Krishna has some power, was the Kaliya Daman Leela. It was Krishna who would insist everyone that let's go and play. I am assuming that most of you know these pastimes. Jagannath Priya Subhadra Maya Ki Jai. So there also people did not exactly see that how he has destroyed Kaliya underwater already and then he came. But at least that was the first instance where they saw some idea that actually Krishna has some mystical power. And that also gave faith to Brajvasis. Oh, maybe it was not Narayan who killed Putana or Shakatasur or Trinavardha. It is actually this boy. But as soon as the pastime would happen and he would come, he would immediately, I am so hungry, mommy, please give me something. Automatically that would block the intelligence. They say, no, okay, Narayan, again it is Narayan. So they would bring Narayan every time. But it was the first instance. The faith amongst all the Brajvasis was such that if your children are with Krishna, they are safe. That's a very big faith. They could also have come to this conclusion that wherever there is Krishna, there is always some problem. That was so easy. But because every time Krishna would come out safe and all the Brajvasis safe, the conclusion was as long as they are with Krishna, no problem. Krishna would decide where we will do which pastime, where we will go this day for grazing the cows, where we will do everything. So like that. It was Krishna who decided to go enter the cave of Aghasur, Bakasur. It was Krishna who would do these things. Naturally, many mothers would feel that, oh, you should not go here like this, but they would somehow consider, no, Krishna is always safe. So Brahma, he thought that very tactfully and masterfully Krishna does these pastimes and never ever there is some scratch on their body or even their mind, like the children don't come out disturbed. Today was horrible. You know, when you go with someone and you face some horrible thing, you like avoid being with that person or that situation. Never ever the Brajvasis or the cowherd boys would have this feeling that something is not right here. That is very interesting. Despite very gruesome and horrific, essentially, experiences like Kaliya, it's not an ordinary thing. Even Aghasur, not ordinary that the snake actually closes the mouth and it's very horrible. And you know, after that, if the child would say, tomorrow let's go here, the first thing we are going to say, come on, yeah, just avoid it now. We'll play in our backyard. Let's go to safe zones. No one would actually consider this. So this means there was no dent in their emotion being with Krishna. There was no dent in their buddhi or intelligence. They would, if Krishna is telling, just go. That was the idea. And therefore Brahma used his intelligence to disrupt the faith of every Brajvasi essentially. And he thought, let me hide all these cowherd boys and the cows, thinking that now when he goes back home, when Krishna would go back alone, everybody in Vrindavan, in Gokul, they'll be totally hurt mentally and emotionally disturbed. Their entire faith in Krishna throughout all these circumstances would get destroyed. This extraordinary faith they had, despite killing so many demons and always surrounded by chaos, still they were supporting Krishna. Now it will get disturbed. I remember one of my acquaintances, now they were three mischievous boys. And one of the boy would always inspire the other boys to go for party or go for picnic here and there. And in one night party, while coming back home, they were slightly drunk and they met with an accident. Two of the boys died, one remained. Because the other two died, the parents still hate the guy who is alive. The parents of those children who are dead, they hate the guy who is alive and they blame him only. It's as if, why are you alive? Because you need to hate someone, right? You have to engage that propensity. Not knowing that their sons also were part of this. So, when, let's say, all of your children, sometimes they go for a picnic and party, and if all die, sorry for this example, wrong example. So, someone else, take it on. And one of them remains. Everyone is going to tell, why did you tell them not to do? You were the one, because of you there was Agasur, because of you there was Kalya, this and that. This was the problem. This could have happened. This was Brahma's plan to disrupt the intelligence and the mind of every single Brajavasi. Destroy the faith in Krishna, pulverize it completely. It was not just disappearance act. And Brahma also was not convinced. He felt that he was actually not doubting Krishna being God in a positive sense. There was more doubt, there was more conviction that he is not the Supreme Absolute Truth than the doubt that he is the Supreme Absolute Truth. It was more on that side that he is going to achieve success. So imagine someone whose body is of intellect and he comes out with a sheer brilliant plan, and then after a moment when he comes after 1 year, all he sees is everything is intact. For those who are highly intelligent people, their ego is in their buddhi. You want to impress an intelligent person, come out with a more intelligent idea. You want to impress a powerful person, come out with more power. It's always like that. So, the 10th canto, chapter 13, 14, the Brahma Vimurana. Brahma essentially gets bewildered and he offers the prayers to Krishna. And the prayers are in reference to you are Achintya. And he says that in time it may be possible that the scientists and the philosophers of the world will actually calculate atoms. How many atoms are there in the universe? Such a verse comes in the Brahma Vimohan Leela. Why would Brahmaji use this reference of atoms? That shows that he has a very scientific or that kind of orientation, because he is pure intelligence. And he said in time it may be possible. Today science has identified roughly that there are 10 raised to 80 atoms in the universe. Now we cannot conceive of it, so if you go only 10 raised to 80. But 10 followed by 80 zeros, 80, which is a very big number. Whether it's true or not, it's based on some speculation or some scientific calculations. But Brahmaji says that it may be possible, but it is going to be very inconceivable to understand you and your pastimes. And therefore, when this verse says, na deva na danavaha, it essentially means that you use anything, there will always be a limitation to understand the Supreme Absolute Truth. Why? Because we only understand truth through the reference of the creation. That is the beauty of these pastimes. So again and again, the greatest of the people, they say these words. You are Achintya. So one word which comes very common for all the greatest of the devotees, let's say Kunti or Bhishma, Munis, Parikshit, Ajamil, pastimes, Rahuguna, etc., etc. Everywhere there will be one prayer common where the word will come, you are Achintya, you are Achintya, you are Achintya, you are inconceivable. Even further, when Krishna is going to now tell Arjun, Paramavachara, I am going to tell you something about myself, now you hear. He is going to describe himself with reference to the material world, not independent by himself. Why? Because he knows that it is impossible to conceive of it. So these are extremely, and I was very fascinated by this, that the modern scientists have come to this conclusion that it is only the Vedic literatures which have this idea of inconceivable. Means what you can fathom through science and what is just not fathomable by any theory. So, anyways, I'll stop here. Thank you all very much. Any questions or comments? It's okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Tandu Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, question, I think you mentioned a few minutes back about the appreciation. We always seek appreciation, even in small groups. I think, we keep seeking appreciations. So my question is, how do we get rid of this mentality of seeking appreciation hungry? We are appreciation hungry. In most of the material settings,